I knew you'd be the first to find me. Guess taking that chance worked out. But I didn't expect you to get here so quickly. Maybe it's because your bamboo is so short that those guys didn't spot you. Makes sense. Having an appearance that doesn't stand out is a survival advantage in Hollow Zero.
I can't believe you're cracking jokes right now. Are you hurt? If you're okay, let's hurry back to the outpost.
Don't worry. I'm more or less in one piece. I can't go back to the outpost yet. I have unfinished business here. You're the only person I can count on now. My most trusted independent investigation team captain.
My only job is to rescue you. Anything else will cost extra.
Relax. You'll be well compensated. As for what I need help with, it's a little complicated. Did you see the recording I left you before you came?
You mean the investigation that Miss Hoshimi Miyabi was part of?
That's right. Not too long ago, I commissioned Chief Miyabi from Section 6 to track Nineveh's movements, and she stumbled upon an abnormal ether zone. However, she realized that the abnormal zone seems to be connected to the Dark Wall, and she decided on her own to stop the pursuit.
The Dark Wall? As in the one at the very edges of the city?
That's the one. The same dark wall that was pushed back by 3 Void Hunters working together. I never expected that this abnormal ether zone in Hollow Zero would have something to do with it. It's like someone intentionally diverted our attention away from the anomalies at the edges of the city, steering all monitoring and research efforts toward Hollow Zero. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I used some workarounds to access the Institute's confidential database and started comparing fluctuation patterns of the Dark Wall and Hollow Zero. Some of the observation data reports were rather ancient, dating back to the founding of the city. They even seemed to be related to the first generation of Void Hunters. But when I tried to download the data, you'll never guess what happened.
What happened?
All the data I was looking at got locked, and at the same time, I received a blank email.
Blank email?
Yep, completely empty. But I think it was a warning to stop digging. After that, my internal account at the Institute started getting frequent error messages. It felt like there was some sort of background program scanning all my research. Meanwhile, the abnormal ether zone in Hollow Zero kept expanding. At that point, I couldn't trust the Institute anymore, at least not the higher-ups. To find answers, I entered the Hollow myself to obtain first-hand data, and I decided to contact you.
So, what do you need me to do?
Finding the truth can wait. Right now, we have a more pressing issue. If my hunch is correct, the Ethereal's abnormal behavior is orchestrated by some powerful being behind the scenes. I'll explain the details once I have the Hollow observation data from here.
Now, you're the prey. Don't get hit. Let's make this quick.
Ready for a fiery feast? One step further!
The pressure's on.
As expected, the results match my previous estimates exactly. I did some calculations before entering Hollow Zero. The results showed that the ether activity here would peak soon. When that happens, it might draw in that powerful being. I'd say its threat level might be on par with Nineveh. No, perhaps even tougher to deal with. After all, it can manipulate ethereals as its pawns, causing them to behave unpredictably, and that's what's been catching us off guard.
No wonder those ethereals seem smarter. Like they're starting to grow brains. But what's this entity after anyway?
Its goal is likely to increase the ether concentration here, to set the stage for its own descent.
Descent?
Yes. Just like how some fish can only survive in salt water, that entity needs the surrounding ether to be active enough to move from the depths of Hollow Zero to the outer areas, increasing the number of ethereals to amass ether. That's what the entity is trying to do. It'll make its descent when the ethereal population peaks and the ether activity is at its highest. But it's not too late yet. If we can lower the ether activity in this area by eliminating ethereals, we can stop it from manifesting and force it back to where it came from.
Eliminating ethereals. Now that's a job I'm more than familiar with.
This is why you're my most trusted, independent investigator. So easy to work with. Now that we're on the same page, let's get ready to move. The data shows that entity is fast approaching.
Keep it burning. Time to shine. I'll make it painless. I'll keep it burning. Yeah. Take this. Yeah. A little gift for ya.
Drink flowing, wind flowing. Hey, time to heat things up.
begins now. Let's make this quick. The pressure's on.
Brighter than fireworks!
Unbelievable. Oh, we actually did it. The surrounding ether activity is dropping rapidly. That entity actually backed off. But, it disappeared so quickly. If only it had stayed a little longer, I could have gathered more data. What's with that look? Relax, I'm kidding. If it weren't for your timely arrival, I'd probably be Ethereal Chow by now. Thank you, my most trusted independent investigation team captain.
The unbearable weight of trust. Could you give me something less intense next time?
Well, even if you say that, an ace like you is someone I call on only in a crisis. Just like this one. To be honest, I had anticipated that the abnormal ether activity might bring trouble, but I didn't expect it to be that particular one. If I'm not mistaken, that corrupted being is the one labeled Geppetto in the database.
Geppetto? That's its name?
I believe so. I found some of its records when I hacked into the database. A lot of details match the data we just collected. Seems like the higher-ups at the White Star Institute know more than I thought. Perhaps I can access more info if I curb my rebellious streak and act like the obedient little researcher they want me to be.
Wait, you hacked into the database? No wonder you got a warning.
Hey, it was for research purposes. Maybe my methods were a bit extreme, but the results were good. And I even got details on Geppetto. You see, that's what we call the end justifies the means. The fact that I'm still standing here chatting with you after hacking into the database says a lot about the higher-ups' attitude. They still need me to handle things in Hollow Zero, so they're turning a blind eye for now. Bringing back data on Geppetto will make me more useful to them. As for the connection between Hollow Zero and the Dark Wall, I should probably wait until things calm down before looking into it further. Plus, those files on the first-generation Void Hunters really intrigue me. Why would the Institute lock those documents down?
What exactly did you see in the database? I want all the details.
Unfortunately, it was just bits and pieces. I'll need time to work through it and verify it. I'll let you know once I have concrete conclusions. After all, there aren't many people I can trust these days, you being one of them. Don't worry. I'll tell you as soon as I have more information. My most trusted independent investigation team captain.
Wait, what are you planning to do? Don't tell me you're gonna hack into the database again.
Oh, don't you worry about it. I'm simply planning to return to the outpost and do some perfectly normal research. But just the thought of having to deal with all those questions and paperwork once I get back is giving me a headache. And since I went into Hollow Zero without permission, the higher-ups will be furious. Even if they don't fire me, I'll be writing self-reflection reports for a month. Ugh. All I want is to analyze the data on Geppetto. I don't have time for all that. Oh, by the way, do you happen to have a self-reflection report template I can use? If you do, please send me a copy.
No way. I'm not writing that for you.
All right. I was just joking. I'll have my Bangbu take care of trivial stuff like this. It's used to working overtime after my training. So, my most trusted independent investigation team captain, it's time to take our data back to the outpost. Don't worry, I'll take full responsibility this time. The glory of being a hero is all yours. I submitted my self-reflection report a while back, but the Institute ignored it until recently. I just received the response a few days ago. As I expected, no major consequences. They're letting me off easy, so we can go ahead and keep investigating Geppetto.
You just heard back from the Institute and you're planning to break the rules again? Didn't you get into trouble precisely because of the unauthorized investigation into Geppetto?
Don't put it like that. I had to write the report due to failure to identify and report a breach in the confidential database firewall, resulting in a small-scale data leak. Oh, and also for recklessly launching an investigation that put myself and the enthusiastic independent investigation team captain in danger. I have already reflected on my mistakes. As a member of the Institute, my vigilance against sensitive information and caution in conducting hollow investigations are still lacking. Which is why, the moment I spotted another security breach, I reported it immediately.
Hearing that from you, I'm not sure I buy it. The Institute's confidential database has that many security breaches all of a sudden? Sounds kind of fishy to me.
Well, in any case, I've already compiled everything about the breach into my weekly report and submitted it. But at the end of the day, I'm just a nobody in the Institute. Who knows when the higher-ups will read footnote 17 on page 4, subsection 21 of my report. Now, back to the matter at hand. Before I accidentally access some of the Institute's confidential files through the security breach, I stumbled across research on combat boosters for in-hollow missions. There's a whole new line of combat boosters. Based on my preliminary observations, they are likely artificial etheric coagulum, similar to precious relics.
Precious relics? Aren't those made from the data and samples collected from rare and powerful ethereals?
That's right. However, I found that the samples and data used to create the new etheric coagulum most likely came from Geppetto.
But we didn't even manage to catch a glimpse of Geppetto during our last investigation. Who could have taken it down in such a short time?
No one did. I've been monitoring the outpost mission logs, but not one mentioned anything about Geppetto. In fact, the outpost has plans to demolish the aircraft hangar and logistics station outside the observation deck to facilitate observing Hollow Zero up close. The reason it hasn't happened yet is because they're still waiting on more intel about Geppetto. So, we'll have to take things into our own hands.
Wait, that's quite a sudden development.
You're my trusted independent investigation team captain, and the only one I've shared my investigation results on Geppetto with.
All right, I won't let you down on something so important. I'm in.
Great. We can start once you complete your preparations. Don't worry. Be it fieldwork or data analysis, the moment we have something new, I'll come find you and let you know in person.
Great hit! Everything's under control.
Move it! Out of my way! Move it! Out of my way!
A solid hit!
I'll take you! Move it!
Home run!
Move it! What's your honor really worth?
Looks like you found the replica relic I reverse engineered using the data from work.
Oh, so this is the experimental prototype you made based on the Institute's data.
Yep. Do you remember what I told you? The Institute seems to have used Geppetto's data to develop a new type of etheric coagulum in their hollow research lab. The end product of these experiments resembles the relics of powerful ethereals, but we can't confirm if those experiments used Geppetto's samples, so I labeled them replica relics. If the Institute can make it, I can too. However, aside from the ones I left in the hollow, other similar relics you might encounter during your exploration actually come from the Institute's hollow research lab. I'm certain they function just like my replicas, so you can consider them the same thing. Unfortunately, we don't have much info on Geppetto, so I can only speculate on the effects of the etheric coagulum based on my own data. Follow-up experiments are needed to confirm finer details.
Follow-up experiments. Are you suggesting that I use the etheric coagulum during my investigations and see how it affects my performance in combat?
I apologize. It might sound a little risky, but that's precisely it. Please, do not worry. We have studies that confirmed the relics of ethereals can affect hollow combat. My experiments simply swap the data source to Geppetto. And I've personally tested them in the hollow to the best of my abilities. Still, it's not zero risk. If you're really concerned, forget I said anything. I can finish the remaining experiments myself.
Relax, Ray. If we're testing our theories on Geppetto, obviously we need to find out what the Institute is hiding. Even if you didn't ask, I'd test them anyway to see what they can do.
All right. Thank you for trusting me. However, I do have to warn you. Although it is very likely that the etheric coagulum will work against Geppetto, there is also a chance that it might negatively impact your hollow exploration. If you've decided to take some with you, just be careful.
Void, what are you all doing here?
We could ask you the same. Since you did help open the bunker, we won't question your motives for entering Hollow Zero. Got that, independent investigator? Or should I say, Hollow Raider? Either way, you better mind your own business. If you're smart and keep it to yourself, we could even help each other out the next time we cross paths. But if you can't take a hint and insist on poking your nose where it doesn't belong...
You sure talk big for someone who couldn't even open the bunker. Hiding behind an ugly helmet doesn't give you the right to push us around. I wonder what Captain Roland would do when he hears about this.
Don't make me laugh. What we're up to is way above Roland's pay grade. That thing lurking around here is only one of our targets. Anyway, please kindly butt out and get lost. Otherwise, you may end up tangled in the strings of the puppeteer. And you'll be stuck wandering here until you turn into an ethereal.
Make way for the undefeated champion!
Great hit!
Countering. Hup. The best defense is a strong offense. Here.
Let me show you how it's done.
I'm not a loser! A beautiful shooting star!
Nothing slips through my defenses.
I pledge my honor!
finishing the jump. Get to safety. Neutralizing the threat.
Eyes on me!
Countering. Your journey ends with me.
I'm unstoppable!
Great hit!
Everything's under control.
Later! Home run!
Heads up. Out of the way.
Lighter!
The best defense is a strong offense.
All good.
A solid hit!
Just finishing the jump.
Watch and learn! Make way for the undefeated champion!
Now's our chance! Let's go! Bring it up! A beautiful shooting star!
The ethereals here haven't changed. Their attacks are well organized. Clearly, they're still under Geppetto's command. How are things on your end? Did you encounter anything unusual?
Nothing out of the ordinary. Just a few annoying mercenaries and a broken extraction tower.
Mercenaries. And an extraction tower. Oh, that's right.
I've been ganged up on and hit by an ether current. How is that right?
Oh, sorry. Let me explain. After going through the Institute's data on replica relics, I suspect that they've known about Geppetto all along and collected loads of data from it. But neither the Institute nor the military has tried to take down Geppetto. On the contrary, they're letting the ethereals roam the Lost Void under its control. So they must think Geppetto's well supervised and don't see a reason for drastic measures. Those mercenaries you ran into were probably hired by the Institute to check on Geppetto regularly.
That makes sense. But if they come here regularly, how did they get trapped in the bunker?
That's because the situation with Geppetto has exceeded their expectations. Like you said, the etheric extraction tower was destroyed. Whether by sabotage or not, The ether currents clearly affected Geppetto and the ethereals it controls. Geppetto and its subordinate ethereals lost control and launched an unprecedented attack that overwhelmed the mercenaries. Their planned routes and tactics have all failed. They had to take shelter in the bunker and got stuck until you found them.
So Geppetto has always been under the Institute's watch, which means the replica relics should work against it, right? I guess that's good news for us.
We can't say for sure yet. For now, the Dark Wall is on the back burner. Our top priority is Geppetto. It was already strong, let alone a Geppetto that's gone berserk. One thing is for sure. You can count on the etheric coagulum, whether it came from me or leaked from the Institute's lab. After collecting enough replica relics, I can already predict Geppetto's movements through the changes in ether activity. Let's keep tracking it. But do be careful.
Securing the perimeter.
I pledge my honor!
Great hit! Everything's under control. Nothing slips through my defense.
What's your honor really worth?
Perfect teamwork! Sorry, no one gets past me. The gun is still active.
Execution continue!
And the winner is me!
All exits are now sealed. The best defense is a strong offense.
A beautiful shooting star!
I'm unstoppable!
A solid hit! No!
Make way for the undefeated champion!
Home run! Wow!
Geppetto is leaving. We have to go after it.
Sorry, I'm afraid I'll have to ask you two to stay here. What happens next is none of your concern.
Whoa! Didn't think I'd see you here again. I thought you'd be off getting permission to access the bunker.
Is that the military bunker? Shall I get in touch with Captain Roland for you?
You?
That's enough. Let me speak with them.
Understood.
And who are you? Sorry, we're busy chasing after Geppetto. Not that it concerns you.
Please be patient. Apologies for our previous discourtesy. It was our mistake. We only recently learned that you're... In any case, as an exceptional independent investigator, you have the right to know more about the situation. Please trust in our goodwill. As long as you don't push further into Hollow Zero, we can provide you with all the information you want, plus more useful tools like the replica relics. Furthermore, as a token of our apology and respect, we will also provide you with another piece of information before you leave Geppetto's territory.
And what information is that?
Have you ever considered that powerful corrupted entities might not just be an act of nature, but rather something created by people?
What? Who are you? And what exactly do you mean?
We'll leave it at that. If the opportunity arises, I'll be in touch. Oh, and one more thing. I've received your weekly report, Miss Ray. The poor QA engineer has been distressed about your hypervigilance on the Institute's data security. So, based on his suggestion, and in light of your contributions investigating Geppetto, you have been granted extended clearance. You don't need to trouble your bamboo to write reports anymore.